My name is Fernando and I'm here with Jordan. Today we have a very special guest. He is my Marine recruiter. It's Sergeant Artisan.
How's it going, guys? I've born and raised in Buckley, Washington. Joined the Marine Corps when I was 19 years old in 2010. I did 4 years in the infantry, 2 deployments, and then I came on recruiting duty. I'm married and have 1 daughter, and been doing recruiting now for about a year and a half. I got a year and a half left, so yeah.
So today we have a few questions lined up for Sergeant Artisan. Go ahead and start it out, Jordan.
All right. Well, what got you interested in the Marines?
Well, I've always wanted to do the military, and like when I was in high school, my mom was like, "No way," you know what I mean? But I got out of high school, and I worked at a gym and tried to go to college in the mornings, and it just wasn't for me. So I finally said, I'm just going to do what I've always wanted to do, and I told myself I'm going to join the military. I'm going to go all the way and just do the Marine Corps. I have a family of Marines, so that's another reason why I kind of wanted to do it, and I wanted to do the combat stuff. So I know the Marines have a good infantry training, so that's kind of the route I just chose to go.
How young were you when you joined?
I was 19 when I enlisted, and then I was 20 when I went to boot camp. So, yeah, kind of older, actually.
What were your friends' reactions when you said you wanted to join the Marines?
Some of them thought I was crazy because I grew up in a really small town, like really small, like Darrington small. And so my core group of friends, we've always been together since we can remember. So I thought I was a little crazy to leave the town for 4 years, but I ended up moving back. Now I live in Enumclaw, which is right next to it, so I still hang out with them all now. So it's kind of nice.
You said your mom said no way to the military.
Yeah.
What'd she say to the Marines? So that's
yeah,
she
wasn't
everyone's
happy.
afraid of.
She was not happy, but I will tell you, when I graduated, you want to talk about the proudest mom there ever was. She has Marine stickers on her car, in her house. It's Marine everything, Marine blankets. My son's a Marine, coasters, you name it, she's got it. So she's definitely proud now.
Okay, personally, what makes you think that, or what do you think that, how does the Marines stand out from the other branches?
The Marines is definitely, when it comes to standards, it's the toughest. Our physical standards are a little bit tougher. Our boot camp is 5 weeks longer than all the other branches. Yeah, it's 13 weeks. And then after boot camp, we're the only branch that requires everyone to go to Marine combat training, because every Marine's a rifleman is what we say. So on top of the longer boot camp, then you have a month of infantry training pretty much. Even if you're like a legal admin or an aircraft mechanic, you're still going to go to that school just because we want everyone to know how to defend themselves. And so it kind of stands out as to where we're also the only self-sustained branch, which means we're the only branch the president can send into a foreign country without Congress's approval. So we have to be completely self-sustainable. We've got our own planes, our own boats, our own infantry, our own legal people, our own cooks. Everything, you name it, we've got to be able to do ourselves. So that's kind of one way we stand out, I think, the
And
most.
I know for most Marines, they think boot camp's the worst thing ever, but knowing you, I heard you had a lot of fun in boot camp. Tell us a little about that.
Maybe I'm just weird, I don't know. But I went to Marine boot camp and I told myself, this is the toughest basic training the United States has to offer, so I'm going to have the best time with it I possibly can. And I did. I wanted to put myself in the tough situations the most just to have fun with it. And it actually worked out because my drill instructor saw that I was having a good time and that they couldn't really break me down mentally, because I liked the more they yelled at me. I wanted to enjoy it. So I actually ended up graduating platoon honorman and got meritoriously promoted out of boot camp just because I wanted to have fun, which I did. It's a great time. You're guaranteed 3 meals a day and 8 hours of sleep, which is probably more than a lot of high school kids get. So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's not bad.
What do you say to those people that go into boot camp not wanting to be noticed?
Oh yeah, if you're one of the guys that or girls that want to go into boot camp and just kind of hide in the back and not get in trouble as much as possible,
That would be me.
it's going to be a long 3 months because time's just going to creep by because you're not going to be as involved. Whereas if you're trying to be in the every situation as much as possible, it went by like that for me. I mean, I looked back on it, I was like, whoa, that was the fastest 3 months of my life. You know, it was fun, but at the same time, I'm really glad it's over. So, yeah, it was cool.
From boot camp, what's like the best like experience you could take out of that?
Out of boot camp?
Yeah.
After you get done with boot camp, everything in the civilian world kind of seems like nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that really is really invaluable to the Marine Corps, is that everything else after the Marines is going to seem like a walk in the park. You know, like an 8-hour a day job is like, man, like I'd kill for those hours. You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy. So I think that once Marines transition to the civilian world, it's just so easy for us because we've been through so much, kind of, that a normal job or even a tough job by the standards in the civilian world is going to seem pretty easy.
And I know after boot camp you get like, I think it was 10 days or a week off. How are those 10 days like for you, like right after like graduation?
It's really, I spent 2 days in San Diego where I graduated in a hotel, and I just sat in the hot tub and relaxed and decompressed. And then I came home for a week and talked to all my buddies and told them how it was. They actually all picked me up, and I just hung out with all my friends and enjoyed it while I could, and then went to infantry school.
What kind of character does a person need to join the Marines?
That's a good question. A lot of people think that you have to be like this tough, you know, really hardcore person, when really, like, you would be surprised at the variety of people that come to the Marine Corps, and for various reasons. People don't just come to the Marine Corps to do what I did and join the infantry and fight. We have every job you can think of. People can join the Marine Corps to be a legal admin, to be a lawyer, to learn to be a food service Marine, which is like a chef and cook for the president potentially. You can do anything in the Marine Corps, and so we actually draw a lot of people who are already looking for a challenge because they just like being physically pushed. And then we also get the opposite of the people who need to, who feel like they need a push in their life to kind of get them started, because they've never, I don't know, they've never had the confidence or the discipline or anything like that, so they join the Marine Corps to get it. So I'm telling you, we get a variety of everybody, and everyone turns out to be Marines. So
I know from my personal experience, that's what I wanted. Like, I want to join the Marines because it's from like the discipline. I want to like do something actually in my life and like change for the better.
Yep.
But like my worry, of course, was like, oh, I'm so small. Like, I don't go to the gym. I don't do any sports. What do you say to those people that like don't do anything sports related, or like they don't hit the gym? What do you say to those people?
That's the biggest misconception, actually, of the Marine Corps. And it doesn't matter what your physical, what you are physically before you go to boot camp, because they're going to fix it. You know what I mean? It's mainly mental. 90% of it's mental. Your physical abilities are all going to be elevated in a boot camp, tenfold. I mean, trust me, that's not going to be an issue, but the mental thing is the biggest thing. So those people who think that because I've never played a sport or anything that they're not going to make it, that's actually the complete opposite. Drill instructors actually like people like that better because they're easier to mold into Marines than guys who have already been doing something kind of like that their whole life.
So you mentioned before jobs that you can get. Well, what kind of education do you need, like, when you're going in? Like, what qualifications do you need for that?
Okay. So for the Marine Corps, we're the only branch that requires a high school diploma.
Okay.
We don't accept GEDs. You can also enlist during your senior year as long as you're on track to graduate. So we just need EDVER and transcripts.
And can you, like, if someone wanted to go into college while they're in the Marines, can they do that?
Absolutely. That's one of the best things about the Marine Corps, or just the military in general. Any branch you join, you get tuition assistance while you're in. So if you're disciplined, a lot of my buddies were, and I wish I was, you can get a bachelor's degree while you're in the Marine Corps for 100% free. And then you can get out and use your GI Bill to obtain a master's or a doctorate or anything else you want. Or you can choose to not go to school while you're in the Marine Corps and just kind of have fun. And once you get out, you can use your GI Bill. Your GI Bill is going to pay for you to go to school for 4 years to any college that accepts it, which is about 90% of the major ones. Not only are they going to pay 100% of your tuitions and books, they're also going to pay $1,600 a month for your living expenses. So it's pretty nice.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, go to one of our segments, and we'll be right back. They don't want the big buff dudes because they can't run a 12-minute mile.
That's true, and they kind of have big egos.
do you guys have any plans at all?
I was thinking about going to the Army.
The Army? Are
Yes,
you serious?
the Army. That sounds like a lot of fun to me.
Why not the Marines?
Because the Army's better.
You have to be kidding me, right?
Why would I ever think about going to the Marines?
I don't know.
Are you going to go to the Marines?
Yes, I'm going to the Marines.
Oh, please. Wow, that sounds interesting. Tell me more.
The Army
See, am I kidding?
and the Marines.
No, I'm not kidding,
The Army,
actually.
they're not disciplined. They're not good. They're sloppy. You go to the Marines, they actually are disciplined. Who goes first to come? Who's first in line to go to combat? The Marines. In
Yeah,
fact,
well,
they're
they picked you, so
the
I don't
troops
know if
that
that's...
America respects.
Yikes.
They didn't ask for the Army. They asked for the Marines.
Yeah, because we all love our government and their choices, right?
Well, the military recruiter's right over there, so why don't you guys go test it out?
Fine. Welcome back, Marysville. Again, we're here with Sergeant Anderson talking about his Marine experience from boot camp and his Marine experience in general. Let's go back to Jordan.
All right. So you mentioned what qualifies a person to be in the Marines. Well, what disqualifies a person?
It's a long list. It's a long list,
Oh, no.
actually. Yeah. It's the Marines is the toughest branch to get into, and I think that's because our physical standards are the highest. So really, as far as your education goes, like I said, diploma, that's key. You have to be able to pass a drug test. That's another thing. Medical is just a really, it's a really long list. There's a lot of waivers we can do, but there's some that we can't do. And like I said, the list is just really long. So, I mean, it's you just got to be a generally healthy person. No permanent physical diseases or no shoulder surgeries. It's huge for the Marines because we do a lot of pull-ups. Knees are also big, and ankles. You got to have good knees and ankles. And then as far as like the physical standards to get in, it's pretty simple from the get-go. As long as you can do 3 pull-ups, and then you can also do 50 crunches in 2 minutes and run 1.5 miles in 13 minutes or under, you can go to boot camp. Now, once you get to boot camp, the standards heighten a little bit. So, but just to get in, it's not that bad.
When it comes to the medical entrance for the Marines, when you have to go to MEPS, what's your advice for those people that have some medical history in their past?
Just be honest with the recruiter. That's the biggest thing. Tell them everything, and then the recruiter can guide you on how to get through MEPS, whether it be a waiver or another way. You just got to be really honest and forward with your recruiter, because that's the number one way to make it through MEPS and get qualified. MEPS actually has a 46% qualification rate for the military right now. So they're disqualifying more people than they're qualifying. So it's pretty crazy right now, yeah.
But you just say, listen to your recruiter, and you'll probably pass the MEPS, right?
Yep. Trust your recruiter, and you'll be fine.
That's what I did. I was lucky. I had Staff Sergeant Michael help me, and he worked at MEPS before.
Yeah, so he told you all the
he told
secrets.
me all the secrets. He told me everything to not say and what to say. So
Yeah.
I was good.
Nice.
Are there any other tests, mental or physical, that a person needs to take to get in, or once they're in?
Yes, you have to take the ASVAB, which I know you guys do at your school. I think you guys just did it actually a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, the ASVAB, you have to take minimum score of 31 to get into the Marine Corps. And then you have to go down to MEPS, like we were talking about, and you have to take what is pretty much a sports physical and then pass that. Now, when you pass that, you're going to go talk to 2 Marines, and they're going to mentally screen you out just to make sure you're not a little, you can't be a big disqualifying thing is if you have depression or anxiety, you obviously aren't going to be eligible for the military. So that's what they're going to screen you out for. And then if you pass that, you're in. So, yeah.
Okay, well, are there any, kind of change the subject, but are there any physical, appearance-wise, that qualifies or disqualifies? Do you have to look a certain way?
What do you go look for as a recruiter? Who do you go looking out for when it comes to recruiting people into the Marines?
Everybody. As far as physical appearance before you're in the Marine Corps, there's really no set thing to it. I guess one thing that is really disqualifying the Marines is tattoos. You can have tattoos as long as they're not really vulgar tattoos or bad, and as long as if they're going to show in a t-shirt and shorts, you have to be able to cover it with your hand, with one hand. If not, it's probably going to be disqualifying. Also, gauged ears is disqualifying as well. You can have piercings, but before you go to boot camp, they have to be closed. So pretty much just take your earrings out when you enlist. But gauges are disqualifying in tattoos. Physical, that's really the only thing. If a person is overweight, I'm even okay with that because we can take them and just help. We can PT them and get them in shape. I'm a big fan of anyone who really wants to be a Marine. I'm gonna do everything I can to make them a Marine because, like I said, it's all mental. So if someone really wants a title of Marine, to me that's good enough. So.
Do you have like any stories about like people you recruited that have like had like the biggest journey, I guess, like from when you got them to when they became a Marine?
Yeah, Tyler Tiedemann from Lakewood High School. He walked into my office at 290 pounds and said, "I want to be a Marine." And I was like, "All right, man, let's do it." I got him on a plan. He got a Fitbit, and he had to lose 80 pounds. And honestly, I gave the guy 6 months, anywhere from 6 months to about 8 months. He walked back into my office 2 months later. He had lost 95 pounds, and he enlisted in the Marine Corps. Now he's going to boot camp in February. So I mean, that's like a success story right there. That's a guy who wanted it bad. I just set him up on a plan. I didn't know how good he was going to follow it, And 2 months, 60 days, he lost like 95 pounds.
Wow.
It's crazy. So yeah.
We'll be back shortly to segment 2 of Charter Chat. You saw game 1 yesterday, right? Royals Mets.
It was absolutely amazing.
6 innings, Michael.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Moose
God.
started that rally. Mike.
Michael Bennett, the defensive
What's up?
end, he's so strong.
Yes, but football.
Billy, we're talking about baseball. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Some people, nobody cares about football. I mean, come on, the World Series was on. Baseball is more important.
You saw Wade Davis though in the 9th inning. He came in, he struck out the side.
Touchdown. My goodness, people in this school are so annoying about sports.
Tell me about it. People, there's huge bandwagons. You see the Seahawks?
Right? Nobody likes the Seahawks until they went to the Super Bowl.
You right?
Guys, okay. Yesterday I was super hungry, so I go to the Ram, right? And I'm sitting there, and then I totally realized my fantasy basketball league started. So I look at all the TVs, and guess what's on? Baseball. So then all I get to watch is that. I can't even watch my fantasy game.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh my god. Another.
So you guys have that problem too then? So you guys have that trouble. You guys play fantasy.
No.
Oh my god.
No one cares about basketball or
Or
football or
football,
any
or
of these sports.
golf, or-
It's all about baseball.
Yes. Okay.
Baseball is
Really?
the only important sport.
Do you play baseball?
No, but I watch baseball.
Oh wow, and I watch UFC fighting. Doesn't mean that that's important. Bet you're all tongue-tied now, huh?
Maria?
Welcome back, Marysville. Again, we're here with Sergeant Otterson talking about his Marine experiences. I'm Fernando. This is Jordan.
All right, so I see your badges. Is that what they're?
Ribbons?
Ribbons?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you ranked? Like, can we talk about rankings?
Yeah,
And like
absolutely.
what those are and.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously don't know.
Yeah, so this is actually my rank. I'm a sergeant,
Okay.
which is an E5. So you start out as an E1, which is a private. Then it's you go to private first class, lance corporal, corporal, and then I'm sergeant. As far as the ribbons go, so like this one is a Naval Achievement Medal, which you get for just doing something, I guess what they say is above reproach and of valor. This one is a combat action ribbon, which pretty much means you've been to Afghanistan and been fired at, and then you've fired back is how you get that one. Good conduct, which pretty much means I haven't gotten in trouble in my 4 years in the Marine Corps. This one is a ribbon for enlisting in a time of war, which most people have gotten in the last 15 years. This one is my Afghanistan campaign ribbon, which just means I've been to Afghanistan. This one is just a GWAT is what we call it, which means you've been overseas. This one is a NATO ribbon, which means you've worked with other countries. And then this one just means I've worked with the Afghan National Army on my deployment. So, yeah.
So you have a lot of ribbons relating to Afghanistan. Is it as bad as people think? Like, is it like chaos over there? Like, what is your experiences from being in Afghanistan?
I loved it. It's like what I was trained to do, and that's all I wanted to do. That's the whole reason I joined. It was an interesting experience being in the infantry over there. I mean, it was literally, for me, this isn't the experience. I had a very different experience than most Marines have. Most Marines are stationed on Camp Leatherneck or a big forward operating base, which has, normal bathrooms, places for you to sleep, a chow hall, all that good stuff. Where I was, though, was what we call a patrol base, which me and 14 guys got dropped off on a hill. They gave us a bunch of sandbags and said, make your base, and we filled over 2,000 sandbags by hand, made our bunkers, and then we got airdropped water and food for 7 months. And we just lived up there with no water, no electricity. I mean, so it was definitely different. And as far as like the people over there, most of them are really nice, and all they want is our help, just because of the Taliban over there are messing up everything. So besides the Taliban, everyone's actually pretty nice, and is really looking for our help and is very grateful for us. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Is your job? Do you guys like go looking for the bad guys? Do you just wait for the bad guys? How does that like work?
Yeah, it's a little different over there compared to the old wars. Right now, the rules of engagement are we have to be shot at to fire back.
Okay.
So we would just patrol we had 3 villages around us, and we would patrol one every day and just make sure everyone's safe and make sure nothing bad's going on, and see what the elders needed from the Marines and stuff like that. As far as going out and looking for them, we did a few missions like that, but most of the time it was just us patrolling our villages, and I'd say once or twice a week that they would take some shots at us, but they're pretty scared of the Marines. They don't like engaging us anywhere closer than like 500 meters. So they would really just take some pop shots and then run and get out of there. So they're smart.
Have you been like told, because from President Obama is the one that like tells you guys where to go, right? What was like the toughest like mission, I guess, for you?
One time we had to go out at like 2 a.m. in the middle of January, and if you got like people think of Afghanistan as being like really hot, well, where I was, it snowed on us, and it got down to like -7 degrees at night. So we had to go out and get dropped off like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then we had to sleep on this rock cliff until sunrise, and we had to just watch this valley with a sniper platoon. And I'll tell you what, that was the coldest I've ever been, because for one, you're not allowed to wear warming layers on patrols, because if you were to get hit by an IED, warming layers are made out of cotton, so they would just catch on fire. So we had to go out in pretty much nothing when it's -7 degrees and sleep on a rock face, try to sleep all night, which is tough. So that was probably the toughest night I had over there. Yeah.
Are there any risks that like the Marines are faced with that other branches may not see, or are they all pretty similar?
The Marines, like I said, it really depends on your job. For instance, my buddy that I recruit with was an aircraft mechanic. He lived the life. I mean, he was stationed on Miramar, which is like a nice base. I mean, top of the line, everything. He deployed to Afghanistan, and like talk about different experiences. He was on Leatherneck, and if Leatherneck is the biggest Marine base, and actually the biggest base in Afghanistan. I mean, it's got McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Starbucks, a gym, like indoor, like a pool, like you name it, they got it. And that's where he was. Like he lived in an air-conditioned and heated room with a nice bed. Whereas me, because I chose to go infantry, you just heard my side, so it's just totally different. Other branches, like the Navy and Air Force, obviously aren't going to have the infantry side. The Army is kind of the same as the Marines, except that the mindset's a little bit different and the mission's different. The Army is made to occupy and stay there. The Marines are made to go in, take out all the bad guys, and then leave. So it's a little different there.
So maybe we're talking about the Army, like people like see them as very similar. What's the big like differentiations with the Marines and the Army that people always confuse?
So like I said, the mission itself kind of states what the difference in the branches are. The Marines' biggest mission is to go in. We're shock troops. We take out all the bad guys and then leave. And then at that point, the Army's mission is to come in after we've taken everyone out, come in and occupy and maintain. That's the biggest difference. The Marines are, like I said, as far as the training goes, our combat training is longer and a little bit more rigorous, just because our mission is a little bit harder as far as combat goes. I mean, the bottom line is the Marines is it's all mental. You've really got to have a mindset for it. So,
Are there any benefits that a person can receive while in the Marines?
there is a lot, and it's not just the Marines. This is military-wide. Any branch, you're going to get free college, 100%. With that, and they're going to pay for your living expenses while you go to college. Like I said, while you're in, you and your immediate family's health care is 100% covered, and dental and health are 100% covered. And then also, you're going to get military benefits everywhere you go, military discounts everywhere you go, and your interest rates, your bank, you're going to have a military bank. So like when I bought my truck, you get like the best interest rate you can possibly get. Same with the house. I just bought a house. I get a VA loan, 0 down, with the best interest rate you can possibly get, as well as opening up a small business. If anyone wants to open up a small business and they've been in the military, you can use a VA loan to do that as well, which is 0 down, great interest rate. So there's a whole list of benefits that you can get from the military that a lot of people don't know about that really helps you out. That's my plan after I get out, is I'm going to take a VA loan and try to open up a bow hunting shop in my hometown.
That's really cool.
So, yeah.
How much money do people in the Marines make?
It just depends. Obviously, the higher the rank you are, the more you're going to make. Your money goes up with each rank you pick up and each year you're in. So it's a lot better than what people think. Like for me, I've only been in the Marine Corps 5 years. I picked up rank fast, but I've still only been in 5 years. And I'm making $4,000 a month around there. So, and it's a lot more than a lot of my buddies are making at 24 years old. You know what I mean? Who are just getting out of college and looking for a job. So it's a lot. Like I said, it's a lot better than people think. And on top of that, you've got to realize you're not paying for health insurance and dental insurance. That right there is probably saving you $700 a month. So for a whole family, like I have at least.
A lot of people criticize that military don't get as money as they deserve. Do you agree with that, or do you think they're just like? I don't know.
I mean, obviously, yeah. It used to be back when I think Bush was president. We were getting a little bit more. I don't know. We don't really do it for the money, so it's tough to say. I know I didn't join for the money, so to me, it's like, hey, I'm here to serve my country. As long as I can live comfortably, I mean, that's all I really care about. I've never really wanted a big house or anything like that anyway, so I'm good.
Can we talk about the recruiting process? Like, what do you have to go through in order to be recruited?
It's pretty simple. Really, just talk to your local representative. For Marysville, it's me. I do Marysville, Stanwood, and Arlington, and Darrington. I just ask you the screening questions, and as long as you're qualified and you want to be a Marine, that's really all you have to do. Now, I always tell people, this is me personally, if you're looking to join the military just for the benefits and just to do it for the benefits and then get out, I would not join the Marine Corps. I would probably join another branch. But if you're looking to join to really better yourself, really challenge yourself, find out what you're made of, and come out a better person than what you were before, the Marines is right for you, because it is going to challenge you. I mean, you are going to have, I call it the best, worst time of your life, because you're going to have to go through the lowest of lows in order to come out, a better person, which you will. Like I said, the coolest thing about being a Marine is that I know when I get out, like, the civilian world just seems so easy. I hear people complaining about their jobs, and I'm like, man, like I would kill to have your job, over being in Afghanistan for 7 months when it's -7 degrees out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just that mindset that you get really helps you. And if you actually look online about how many Marines are CEOs and owners of companies, it's actually pretty surprising. A lot of Marines get out and automatically take leadership positions in their civilian jobs just because of that mindset. So it's pretty cool.
All right, well, sadly that's all we have time for, but I'm really glad you could come, and thank you.
Yeah,
Do you have
thanks,
any
guys.
like last words for our Marysville audience?
Have a good Veterans Day, and just remember all those guys who have served and given up the ultimate sacrifice for you guys to live in this great country. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Marysville.
Good.